Hello, hello. We're gonna begin today my new podcast here in the new studio. You can see my new stage, my new mics, my new cameras. So we're gonna do a complete set of leadership skills that are gonna be trending for you in 2025. So I'm gonna be talking about 5 topics that in the next 5 weeks we're gonna be deep diving in that. The other thing is we're going to have here beside me, as part of the interview, some guests. So I'm going to have some guests invited here that they're going to be with me. And what I'm going to do is that those guests, I'm going to be having the conversation about the topic. So stay tuned and let's begin and let's have fun. Okay, this podcast today is going to be a very introductory about what we're going to be doing in the next 5 weeks. So I'm going to be talking about the 5 cutting edge resilience strategies to deep dive series to begin. So here I'm going to say that those 5 cutting edge leadership skills, we're going to be talking of them in the next 5 weeks. Okay, the first one is going to be talking about the importance of the emotional intelligence, the superpower of a resilient leader. We're going to be deep diving about what that means, what are the practice of self-awareness to raise a emotional intelligence, how be empathetic, how be a better communicator, how to become a better speaker. So I'm going to have a guest where I'm going to be interviewing him about this. The second week, we're going to be talking about the importance of a resilient leader in the today hybrid work environment. Everybody knows that today, after the pandemic, many environments still are hybrid. People are still working in home and sometimes working in their office. So that's why this is a practice that it came to stay. So we're going to be talking about how you can build that virtual trust with your employees in the digital space, how you can have a balance, flexibility with your life because you're in your house, how you can balance your personal life and continue delivering to your company because your company needs delivers. And using AI tools. So we're going to be deep diving on all of that. The third week, we're going to be talking about the importance of the today's servant leadership. It's a very competitive advantage in 2025. Let me tell you something. In the past, talking about servant leadership, it was thought like a leader was weak. And one of the most incredible example of a servant leadership is Jesus Christ. And there's a lot of examples in the Bible of servant leadership. And today is a very, very well perceived a servant leadership. So a servant leadership, we're going to be talking about how you can build trust, how you can build engagement, how you can create high performance team being a servant leadership because now you're engaging with your employee. The fourth week, we're going to be talking about the mindset shift from a growth to an anti-fragile mindset. What that means, this is very important because when you have an anti-fragile mindset, you don't see failures as failures. So you're adapted to become that your superpower, part of your strengths. So now you are a long-term thinker. You're not looking the picture that you have in front. You're looking what you have in the future. So no matter how much failures you have, you will keep going. So that's a great example. And let me tell you, there is an example that people don't like sometimes, but Elon Musk is a very well case of this anti-fragile leadership because he has had a lot of failures and he continues going because he has that target that he's gonna put the man in Mars, period. So this is gonna be something very important. In the fifth week, we're gonna be talking about let me see here, and about, a wrap up of these four categories. That's what we're going to be doing. So sorry about that. So again, we're going to be having a guest every week in my stage. We're going to be talking about this topic and we're going to have fun. I'm going to be recording during this time because next month I'm invited to go to what is called the Hosted Week. It's going to be the end of April and the beginning of May. I'm going to attend several events in Washington for that event. And one of my main goals is I want to record a podcast talking about the importance of raising awareness in the hostage diplomacy. Because I'm going to have the opportunity to meet in person several of the former hostages that have been released years before and in recent data, like the people of the Middle East, for example. People that were released recently from the Middle East, or some guys that have been released from Syria, of Afghanistan, Russia and China. They're going to attend this event, so I'm going to see if I have the opportunity to interview them, interview their families, and interview the people that are in these foundations that work in this area. So I'm going to try to do this podcast in the following months. It's going to take a time to edit it, but stay tuned that we're going to be talking about that. So beginning the podcast today, I want to say that these topics that we're going to mention here are part of the skills that are necessary for any leader that wants to really be successful in the future. Anybody that wants to be successful in the future has to practice these skills. That's why I want to go one-on-one each of them, because they are important. For example, let's begin talking about those 5 cutting-edge resilience strategies. Let me mention them again. The adaptive leadership, the emotional intelligence, the resilient leadership in the hybrid work, the servant leadership, and the mindset shift from the growth to antifragility. So these are the 5 topics that we're going to be talking in the next 5 weeks. So let's kind of walk through them so you can have an idea of what we're going to be talking. The first one, that is the rise of the adaptive leadership, how to lead under uncertainty times. Today, the world has been evolving. U.S. has been evolving. That with the new government, it's incredible that in less than 3 months has changed a lot of things here in the U.S. and worldwide. So a leader has to be adapted to those changes, because if you're in a company that is global and you have operation here in Europe, Asia, Latin America, whatever, many of these situations can affect you. For example, the new U.S. administration are imposing some fees, taxes for some exchange with the Mexicans, with the Canadians, with the Chinese. Very important the thing with the Chinese. Changing the Panama Channel, for example. All these immigration things. So all of this. Sorry, I'm having a call here. All of this is affecting today. So a leader has to be adaptive to this situation. Any leader that wants to be successful needs to be adaptive. Not only him, his employees. I always mention that this is something that I talk in my speech, because the people that know me, I am a former hostage, and when I went through my hostage situation, one of the things that I needed to do to survive was to be adaptive to that changing situation on a daily basis. So this is something that you can mirror in your life. You need to be adaptive for the situation that you're going in your life or in your business. So that's why it's important that those adaptive leadership are going to be the ones that are going to be rising. They're going to be the ones that are going to be successful. So we're going to be talking regarding to that, seeing those opportunities like adaptive leaders see the opportunities like innovations. We will analyze how they see the things, how they decentralize the decision making. This is very important because adaptive leader is not only doing him. He does encourage all these employees to be adapted to. So now your organization is adapting to the change. This is very important. As I said, next week I'm going to be talking about this topic, and I'm going to bring a guest that we can talk about this topic. Second topic that we're going to be talking is about the emotional intelligence. This is a superpower today. So those leaders that can have a high emotional intelligence EQ are those that are going to build strong teams. They're going to foster trust, and they can manage the stress effectively. So one of the things that adaptive leader can do is that, the emotional intelligence leader does, is that is more empathetic with employees, understand better their feelings, have a better communication skills, is a better speaker too. Is normally they are storytellers. They can have stories that can empower and inspire their employees, and that builds bonds, create a great relation, create bonds, and makes that employee feel more comfortable. So this is part of what the adaptive leadership has to do. Okay, we're gonna have in the second week this emotional intelligence topic. I'm gonna bring. I'm thinking in somebody. I'm gonna talk that she's an expert in emotional intelligence, so I'm gonna bring her as a guest for that. Okay. So now we're gonna be talking in the third week about the resilient leadership in the hybrid work. As I mentioned, after the pandemic, the situation in the world changed. I'm gonna say something here. Maybe for most people, the hybrid and the remote work is new. Is after 2020, after the pandemic, but this is not new. This is happening since a while. When I was working in the oil and gas, in the 2001 frame, 2005 frame, in the 20 years ago, I already were working in the remote environment because I was in that time working in Venezuela. In Venezuela, we had a lot of oil and gas projects running in the country with several joint ventures companies, and we had oil and gas project in the west, in the north, in the south, in the east, in the center of Venezuela, all over the country. We had there was a special PDVSA affiliate called CVP, Corporación Venezolana del Petróleo, or the Petroleum Venezuelan Corporation, Petroleum Corporation, something like that. That affiliate of PDVSA handled all the joint venture, and the joint venture were 44 companies all over the country. So and I was by that time the general finance manager of that big affiliate. So I had to handle all those projects, and I had finance manager in all those companies, and I was always working remote with them. During that time, I believe that Zoom didn't exist. I believe it was only Skype. But PDVSA has their own internal video conference system that was very powerful. It was private, and I was always with my laptop, with my VPN, doing remote meetings all over the country. So I really was always working remote. So for me, this is nothing new. What was the difference? And this is something I'm going to be talking here, the way you handle the relation with your employee. Because now you're working remote, but you have a way to control the outcome that delivers. You can control your KPIs. I remember I did by that time every Monday, a Monday session, every Monday with all the companies. So now each company was reporting what they were doing every Monday. So, and the other company were hearing what the other were doing, because we tried to standardize the procedure. And we did that during years, and it worked. So what I'm gonna say here is that the remote work or the hybrid work can work if you create system of control, ways that you can control, establish a good channel of communication. You establish meetings so that people know they have to report. You establish KPA to have that control, and you establish a balance. That the employee establish a balance between his personal life and the business, because now he's in his house. He can be working in pajamas if he wants, only having a shirt. But you have to deliver. So, and you as a leader have to have that way of communicating with your employee to make this be successful. There are companies today that are working remote or are working hybrid. They are being very successful. So that doesn't mean that you're going to lose control. We're going to be talking about that. Another thing that we're going to be talking, that's going to be my second week. The third week, we're going to be talking about the servant leadership. The fourth week, the servant leadership, because the third was the hybrid. The servant leadership. As I mentioned before, the servant leadership is a leadership characteristic. They always has been there, because I mentioned that the most great example of that was Jesus Christ. But we have cases like Gandhi, Buddha, many great servant leaders. Many. Mandela was a great example of being a servant leader. There are many examples. The Mother Teresa of Calcutta. So there are many examples of people that have been outstanding leaders, being servant. I'm a guy that I have that as a skill. I am a servant leader, and not because I decided to be. Is something that has been part of my nature. I always have tried to create teams, be empathic with my employees, try to have a good relation. That doesn't mean that you have to take a strong decision. You take it, because that's what a leader has to do. But now you can be more empathetic with your employees, understand them better, put in their shoes, if they're having any situation. I remember one day, I'm going to put here an example. One day, I was, when I was in the oil and gas, still working in Venezuela, in one of these big projects that I remember that I had a guy that he was my internal control manager. And the guy was a great guy, but he was a little shy, and he has this type of very quiet personality. And I had another lady that she was my treasurer. And that lady was very eloquent. She was very well spoken. She was really very good looking, and two different characteristics, but the two were great. But this lady did that year something really outstanding. And I remember when we were doing the final year evaluation, I gave to her a better evaluation than the other guy, because she already had done outstanding things. So I wanted to recognize that. I remember that the guy, he came to me, and he was depressed because he felt that I had failed him. And we had this very open conversation, and I told him, why do you think I have failed? He said, because this supposedly, when you do evaluation, the other doesn't have to know about it. They have to be confidential. But you know how is the things. Everything sometimes can be, that Chinese wall sometimes is broken. So unfortunately, he knew that this lady got a better evaluation than him. So when we were having that frank conversation, I told him, hey, unfortunately, she did something much better than you, but you did it great. but I will encourage you to do it better next year. And believe me, if you do it, I'm going to take that into account. And we had a very, very strong conversation. And the guy, he was not so convinced, but he took the challenge. He took the challenge. It began to happen that next year, the guy began to work and improve. And at the end, he did a very outstanding achievement. He really was very, very outstanding what he was doing. And I remember when the evaluation season came, I gave him a very great evaluation, even better than I had given to the other the year before. And when I called him, I said, do you remember the conversation we had 1 year ago? Now this is the result. And that guy was so happy that he became to be one of my most loyal employees. Even until today, he's a friend and he still calls me my boss. He recognized me like he told me that I have been his best boss ever. And was because I recognize him. I give him the credit. So this is something that you have to do in your business. Consider your people, be human. Treat them like you wanted to be treated. This is the secret sauce of everything. When you treat the people like you want to be treated, the way you deserve to be treated, so they deserve that you treat it to them the same way, you're going to be a better leader. That's what a servant leader does. And not only he treats them, he communicates it. So this is a bi-directional communication where he speaks and he hears, because the servant leader also hears. Because there's a difference between when you hear but you can understand what the other is saying. It's the same thing that when you're looking or when you're seeing. There's a difference. So when you really hear your employee, hear what he's saying, hear what are his thoughts, his fears, his struggles. Sometimes you can have a good employee and he's having a hard time. Things happen in life. I have always said, the only thing that is secure in life, that you're going to have setbacks. At some point in life, you're going to have it. And the way you decided to face it is going to be the way that's going to mark a difference. If you decided to embrace it, or you get stuck in there. That guy, for example, he took that challenge to not get stuck in there. He embraced the challenge and he did an outstanding achievement 1 year after. So that's something that a servant leader can achieve. He can take care of his employee, and we're going to be talking about things that a servant leader can do, like giving coaching to the employees, training, taking care of their well-being, and treat them with humility. I'm going to bring a person that I'm thinking that is a great example of being a servant leader. So stay tuned. I'm going to be announcing the people that I'm going to be bringing every week in a week in advance. Okay. For the next 5th week, we're going to be talking about the mindset shift from the growth to the antifragility. So we're saying that traditional resilience is about only bouncing back about the adversity, but the antifragility is that takes those challenges to opportunity to grow and become stronger. And I was saying that there's an example that people maybe don't like, but it's an example that is the case of Elon Musk. If you follow his trajectory during the construction of the X space, he put in his mind that he was gonna put the man in Mars. And he has had a lot of failures. Recently there was a failure in one of his aircraft. But he's not thinking that as a failure. When he is interviewed, he sees that opportunity to improve, to do the things better. So this is a total mindset shift. When you don't see the failure as failure, when you See the failure like an opportunity to grow, and you decided to embrace it. So that's a superpower. When a leader has that mindset, that has a vision that everything is looking in a positive way, always is looking at the challenge as opportunity to grow, and he does it. The people that had that ability becomes to be incredible leaders. Incredible. That's a superpower. It's a superpower. So we're going to be talking about this, about the importance of this. I had to think in somebody that can talk about this, because this is an incredible topic. This is going to be my 5th week that we're going to be talking about this. Said this, we are going to talk about cases study. So normally I talk about cases study. There is a case of a company that I'm not going to mention the company because maybe could be I don't have the authorization to give the name, but there was in 2024 a company that had a major business crisis and that threatened the entire company. It was almost very near to get to the bankruptcy, and the CEO had to face that major failure, and then. But the leader of that company had this antifragile mindset. So the guy, he took that adversity and he did a big meeting with all the employees. He announced that he had to restructure the business. He told what was going on, and everybody began to work in consequence. And he was in a daily basis communicating what was going on, what was the success, baby steps, doing, and all the employees get so engaged with them. They get so empowered to make the company come back that they made the comeback. They filed a Chapter 11 for bankruptcy, and after 6 months they could come back. And today they are stronger than before. So that's a great example how a leader can take that big failure and convert it in a success. This company today is stronger than ever, and it took around 6 months, and they could come back. They already took out that Chapter 11, and they're back to business. They pay their debt, and they're back to business. So this is a case, without mentioning the company, this is a case. So one of my final thoughts on this is that these 5 things that we mentioned here, having the emotional intelligence, being a servant leader, have the anti-fragile mindset, being empathetic with the employee, being resilient in the hybrid work, and being adaptive to any situation. A leader that has all these skills, those traits, my friend, is going to be an incredible leader. He's going to be an incredible leader because he will be successful. So said this, I'm going to mention also that these topics that I'm talking today in my podcast are the same thing that I'm going to be talking in my course, my seminar. My seminar is called the Unbreakable Leadership Coaching Program. This is a 6-week coaching program that I created for the people that are business owners, or you are a C-suite, you're a CEO. This is a program created for you. Because I walk through this program. Let me show you. I walk every week. I'm going to have a session. For example, my first session that I did it in Hershey with the kids, and they love it. It's talking. The model 1 is talking about the strengths that a leader has to have, and the foundations to have a resilient development. So I walk through in this book. So we write down things that can help you based on my story, my personal experience, And then we walk through techniques, for example, techniques how you can help to enhance your mental and your emotional endurance. I'm going to be putting you here examples of my story, and I'm going to be encourage the people to put their stories. So now we're going to be talking about strategies, my strategies, and then you're going to be putting your strategies. And this is the way we're going to be walking these seminars, because you're going to be seeing my example and challenge your example, and you will learn from me, and I will learn from you too. So this is a very complete seminar, and every week is going to be this way. It's going to be a 6-week seminar. If you are interested in this seminar, I'm going to leave there my calendar. You can organize a call, or you can write me in the DM in my Facebook, in my LinkedIn, in my Instagram, or you can write me an email, or you can go direct to my webpage. My webpage is joseconnect.com, and I'm going to be talking about this program. This program for me is a great achievement, because it is a compound of all those things that I've been talking with you, and part of my experience, not only as a leader in the oil and gas, but a leader of my life when I survived my hostage situation. I combined those techniques, and that became that program. I also did an article in this wonderful magazine, where I'm going to be also talking about leadership. So here I encourage you to read it, because I talk here about leadership strategies. What we're talking today is here in this magazine. So I did an article to them, because for me it's important that the people understand that these are things that you can learn. Your brain can be retrained. This technique you can learn. Even you say, I don't have those skills, you can learn it. I can teach you how to do it. But you have to have the confidence that you can do it. So if you want, connect with me. This that I'm talking in this session, I'm going to be deep diving with you. I can do this in a program, in a collective program, if you have a company and you want your employees to do it in a group, or I can do it one-on-one to you, in person. So we can do it, if you're in the area, in person here, or we can do it in Zoom. We can tailor-made it depending of your needs. So if you're hearing me, this is an option that I'm giving to you, to go to my coaching program, because it's going to be really helpful for you. So said this, I'm going to conclude saying that we're going to be talking the next 5 weeks. Remember, on the 5 topics, I'm going to go back, that you can hear them. My first week, next week, we're going to be talking about adaptive leadership. What is an adaptive leadership, and the importance to be an adaptive leadership, and in today uncertainty time is a must. The second thing that we're going to talk is about the emotional intelligence, the importance of the emotional intelligence, and how you can develop the emotional intelligence. I'm going to give you techniques. The third, being a resilient leader in the hybrid work, how it works, what that means, how you can become a great leader in that hybrid environment. The fourth, we're going to be talking about the servant leadership. What is the importance to become a servant leader? Why a servant leader today is much more successful than the other leaders. And the fifth that we're going to be talking is the mindset shift from the growth to the antifragility, because it's not the traditional leadership that you fail and you bounce back. No, it's that you fail, you bounce back, but you learn from that bounce back, and then you become stronger. You come back stronger and better. That's what the anti-fragile leaders do. So we're going to be talking about these 5 topics every week. I'm going to bring a guest. I'm going to have now a guest with me Maybe it can be in person or maybe it can be remote, but we're going to be changing this. So I'm going to be announcing next week that. This for me is important because this is a way I can exchange this information with you. And then, as I said, if you want to deep dive more, I have the 6-week coaching program. This 6-week coaching program will give you in very deep details, and we will walk through one by one all what we're talking about with details, so you will become a stronger as leader. If you're having issues in your performance as a leader, or in your business, or in your company, that you're a leader in your company, this is for you. This is for you because this will help you. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So you can contact me in any of my social medias. In LinkedIn, you can DM me. In Facebook, you can DM me. I'm gonna put there all my links. My Instagram, my Twitter, or you can go to my webpage. That is joseconnect.com, and you can go and write me there too. And I receive my message, so, or my email, so you can contact me for anywhere, and you can organize a call with me, joseconnectonline.com, and you schedule a call. We can have a 30 minutes call, and you tell me about your business, what are your challenges, and we connect, and we work on this. My new set of interviews, I'm gonna be trying to bring people that really are expert in each area. So if anybody is hearing this, think that have an area of expertise that he can want to talk about leadership and resilience. You have a story, you have a powerful story, and you have a message that you want to tell, contact me too. I can bring you to my show. So I'm not gonna be also bringing the people that I know. I want to bring people that maybe I don't know, but have a message that you want to share. So that's something that I want to do. I want to begin to empower people that have a story that can maybe inspire others, and this is gonna be a platform for you. So said this, we're gonna come to the end because this program was only to give the frame of what the new thing we're gonna be doing. As I mentioned, I have the new set. I have the set of the interviews. I have this set that is the podcast, and it's gonna be great having my guests here in person. Some of them live here in the Houston area or in the surrounding areas. They can come here. Some not, no problem, because I'm gonna have all the technology to do this remote and do it in a way that is gonna be very interactive. So it's gonna be very educational for you. So I'm gonna come to the end. Thank you for being here today with me. Stay tuned. Next week we're gonna begin the new series, and as I said, I'm gonna also do a very special podcast talking about the hostage diplomacy. I'm gonna be in the beginning of final of April, beginning of May in Washington in several events where I'm gonna be meeting former hostages, family of current hostages, and all the people that are involved in the hostage community. The foundations, congressmen, lawmakers, government officials, people that really are committed to bringing people back home. I'm going to have the opportunity to interview them, so I'm going to be interviewing them, and of course it's going to be an editing process to put that program. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe it can be one or it can be two programs, but I want to do this very educational because these people doesn't know about this. People don't know what is going on with in the world with the hostage situation. People got some news when situation with the Middle East because they did a good job, putting in the press all these things. But this is something that is not new. This is happening since years. I don't know if you remember in 1979 when was the hostage crisis in Iran. that was a big famous case here in the US, but this has been happening for years. When it happened to me, it was in 2017, that already has 8 years ago. And there are people that have decades in this situation. So the good news that is becoming more serious. There are more people involved in this, and this is something that I'm going to be doing when I go to Washington. I'm going to be meeting with these foundations. They're going to have some event. The James Foley Legacy Foundation is going to do a gala. Hosted US is going to do a gala too. Hosted A Worldwide, I believe, is going to have an event too. There are another foundation like the Bring Our Family Home campaign. My family is a former mermaid. They're going to have like a side meeting during the Foley Foundation meeting. There are going to be some demonstrations in the Lafayette Park in front of the White House. There are going to be some demonstrations and some speeches in the mural in Georgetown, where currently was my face with another 19 faces. We all those faces disappeared because unfortunately all those people came back. So the faces that now are there are people that are new. The Bring Our Family campaign today has, I believe, 9 or 10 members. The current hosts, they are there. They are part of that campaign. So this is a movement that is close to my heart. All this foundation, because when I came back, they supported me a lot. They supported me a lot, and it became to me part of my family. So today, anything that I can do to promote, to amplify, I will do it. I will do it. I'm also going to be talking about my book that I promote. I don't know if I mentioned that my book got an international award. The International Impact Award is the best true story memoir. So my book, From Hero to Villain, got that nomination. I'm very proud. I received this award. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm gonna be continuing promoting my book, because my book, as I have said in several stages, is not only my book. My book is what I call my legacy. The legacy about how you can overcome things in life and how you can become a better person, a better leader of your life. So that's why I'm so passionate when I talk about leadership, because you can mirror it. Situation can be mirrored. Something that I survived, today I can mirror in your business. And the other thing that I begin to talk in my speaking engagement was to the college, the kids. I went to an event in Hershey last week, wonderful event in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and there were like 3,000 students, and we had the opportunity to give them a master class that was based on this. I did the first module of this. You can go to my YouTube channel. I have the recording of that. You can see how is the dynamic. And the kids did it great. They did it great. I got surprised. They did it great. These kids were so spot on with the answers they were given, because, as I said, we try to do this very interactive. So now I'm having this speech with the kids. Has been exciting me, because I believe that this is, the new generation, the generation to come. Anything that you can do to help them, it will be always well perceived. So, said this, we're coming to the end to the show. Thank you for hearing me. And next week, we're going to begin to talk adaptive leadership, the first topic. Stay tuned, and thank you for being here with me. Bye. If you have any question, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I will be reviewing the chat, and I will be answering you. Don't be shy. Make questions. I will answer them. Make as much as questions that you want about what we talked today. Do it. Don't be shy. And if you want to contact me, again, I have this program that's going to be launched, so you can contact me if you are interested in the program, and we can have that discussion, okay? So, said this. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.